Alright, so I try to make a lot of these videos in the moment. Or at least sometimes I do. Sometimes I fail to do so though. I realize that a lot of the time when I'm about to shoot a video, I'm planning what I'm going to say, and I have to get the camera out and go somewhere to make sure the background's cool and make sure that I start filming before the thought goes away. And it's very similar to when you plan what you're going to say to a girl at the bar, or plan what you're going to say to a person in a social situation. If you're like thinking too much about what you're going to say, it's like the same type of energy, like it's desperate. I got to say this thing because this thing is what's valuable. It's not just me being in the moment. And I was thinking before I got out here, whatever you feed tends to grow. So if you're feeding like, all right, I gotta say this thought and then make people laugh, making people laugh or getting attention or getting the good thought out before it goes away, all that stuff is what you're putting energy into. But if you start putting energy into the moment, like I'm just putting on the camera and whatever comes to mind in this moment, whatever I have to say about what I want to talk about in this moment is what I'm focusing on. And you can try that in social situations, because in my experience, that's better. You're not constantly just desperately trying to cling on to like cool words to say, because people can sense when you're planning what you're going to say, or when you're desperately clinging on to the funny thing that you want to say, but you can't really elbow your way into a conversation, but then you finally do, but the conversation has moved on and you're not in the moment anymore. So yeah, the main idea that I wanted to say in this video was whatever you feed grows. So if you feed being in the moment, that's what's going to grow in your life. You're going to be able to be in the moment more. If you feed something else, that's going to grow. Whatever you feed grows. And personally, I want to focus on being in the moment and feeding that. And that's basically what I'm doing in this video. I have an idea of what I want to say. I thought of the idea on the way here in the car after taking a walk, but yeah, I guess what I could do is I could put so much emphasis on it being perfect, the perfect thing to say, the perfect idea to get out there so people just understand. Or I could just put the camera in front of me and whatever I have to say right now, that's good enough as it is, because it is me being in this moment. I noticed when I started making YouTube videos, the thing I liked about making videos was I didn't really care about getting attention, because I didn't have any subscribers on YouTube. 0 subscribers, just made my YouTube channel, and then I started uploading whatever I wanted. And some of those videos really resonated with people. I got like heartfelt comments, not like a ton, but some people just really resonated with them. And I think a big part of it was that being in the moment, because it was before, I don't know, especially on social media in general. I think I've gotten wrapped up in thinking too much about how the video is going to land, or making a video to get attention. Like I said, that desperate energy of, I got to get this idea out, this is going to be the next hit, this is going to get the most attention, whatever, as opposed to literally just being in the moment. And I want to do that more in my life. I am going to do that more in my life. I am doing that more in my life right now. It's pretty exciting, isn't it? I'm being in the moment right now. Anyway, take a look at what I'm looking at. The reason I thought to make this video was because I was meditating in this little trail through the woods. I sat down and I kept, every once in a while I would dart to the end of the trail to see if anybody was coming, because I was self-conscious about what they would think of me when I was sitting down meditating. And I was like, is that why I'm doing this? No. Why do I care so much about what people think? And the way that I've tried to combat that before is really, really lean into it. So then I might just try to look even weirder meditating in the forest. and have people watch me, but I don't think you have to do that either. I think basically what I want to do is just focus more on being like in the moment and focus on like what I'm doing. Yeah. Oh yeah, and another thing, I don't know if you've ever experienced this where you have like really good energy because you're just focusing on doing something that you love. Maybe you're like running through the forest or whatever, or you're jogging or you're playing a sport, and then people like are like, oh man, I just love that energy, I love what you're doing, yes. And that can be very good, but sometimes if it's like done in a certain way, like people are actively like rewarding you and giving you attention for having, I don't know, for being in that like high vibration energy, you know what I mean? Sometimes you can get hooked on that validation or that attention from other people. And I just noticed that the reason I noticed this was I was walking out of the forest after like meditating, running around the forest, letting my thoughts kind of just come out and being with myself for a while, no distractions. I felt really good. And I was walking, I noticed whenever I feel really good, I walk with better posture and I feel more open and I feel more loose and relaxed, and people look at me more and people smile at me more. And then inevitably I will get hooked on that, and then I'll try to keep doing what I'm doing for that attention instead of just doing what I'm doing for the love of it. And I've done that in relationships too. Like I'll finally attract a girl that I want to attract because I have really good energy and I'm just letting loose and I don't give a shit anymore. And then she likes me, and then we'll exchange numbers and I'll take her on a date, whatever. And then like a week later, I start coming off as like kind of needy because I'm trying to keep up the same vibe, but it's for her. It's not for me anymore. It's not for the love of just being loose and having fun anymore. And then you kind of and then you get the consequences of that. Then she doesn't want to hang out with you anymore because then your energy's changed and you come off a little bit more needy. So the solution to this, the reason I laugh at like the solution is because I'm trying to look for less solutions in my life right now, but I'm trying just to be in the moment more. But the solution to that seems to be that instead of focusing, like you have to refocus on the love of it. You can't get focused on that recognition or that attraction or that whatever it is from other people. You've got to keep doing it for the same reason, and you've got to kind of remind yourself to like center back to doing what you love just for the love of it. And I think it's easier to do that when you eliminate distractions from your life. Social media, binging on mindless videos online, alcohol. Not saying that stuff's like not fun every once in a while, but if you're using it like as a distraction or as like, the more that you can get rid of the need for urges in your life, or actually not even get rid of them, just notice them. The more that you can notice the urges in your life by spending a little bit of time with yourself and then realizing your mind is like, oh, go get Cheetos or go get alcohol or go text that girl because you really want her to text you back. If you just kind of sit there with it for 10 minutes, it kind of gives you a better idea of what it is and what it actually just like an urge is out of like desperation or out of fear, as opposed to just like doing something for the love of it. If you do text a girl, she can tell if you're texting her to get a text back because you're desperate and want that attention, or if you're just sending out the message because you want to send her a nice message. Whatever she responds with is fine. You just want to send her a nice message. People can tell, people are receptive, so I think I might call this video Intent.